really important about universities is they bring people together, talented, smart people, to address and solve problems, but they don't do them according to org charts or disciplines. They have the opportunity as an aggregate to talk, to debate, to argue, and to resolve. Please eat.
The traditional mission of land-grant universities, it's that tripartite mission of teaching, research, and service, but it's making sure that whatever we do here is made accessible to people outside of the university's walls. Really, I think the two things that are defining characteristics of a land-grant university are access. You provide people with access to higher education who might not otherwise have it, and application. You apply the research that you do at a university to solve social problems and meet the needs of society. So I think as a land-grant university, we have an obligation to be an honest broker and make sure that the policymaking process is driven by data and is grounded in facts. I hope that as a land-grant university, we say that we can be a leader in teaching, research, and service, and we add a fourth piece to that, and that's stewardship. We have a special obligation to be good stewards and to teach our students to be good stewards. If we never lose our true north as a university, which is to be the honest broker, land grant, bringing data to the table, and layer onto that this notion of good stewardship, then I think we'll be doing the state a really good service, long term.
Kurt Peterson gave a presentation a year or so ago. I was on a visiting committee, right? And he calculated that over 90% of research, the mother of innovation, is done by the West Virginia system for the state of West Virginia. To me, there's one big bet that should be made in the state, and that's here. With scarce resources, the exponential return will come from investing in WVU. But no one's going to give it to us. It's the entrepreneurial spirit from our university that goes and gets it.
Well, speaking of one of those things that is so very much a part of the identity of the university, particularly now, and ways in which we can build the footprint of the university and the state is around energy.
Energy is a vital resource to this state. It's a vital resource to this country. All you have to do is look at some of the recent headlines about the instability of the Middle East, the political instability, and you have to say we can't rely on our energy coming from a politically unstable situation because we can be too easily caught. As an environmentalist, on the other hand, I say, what are we going to do about the environment? How do we do energy responsibly? And in fact, I was at a meeting this morning talking to oil and gas producers about just how we do that, and got drafted onto a committee somehow. But when I look at this, and I come from this very strange background, I am primarily apolitical. I believe my politics are science. Show me the data. It's like Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Well, show me the data. The data will lead the way. Once we begin to get data, we can begin to make intelligent decisions.
The interesting thing about the energy problem is there are so many different facets. I mean, there's socio-ecological facets to energy development. There's the environment. There's I mean, you can get to the hardcore technical aspects of, if it's Marcellus shale, how the methane might come out of the shale itself, and there's policy and law and permitting, and it really does cross the entire university. And so, I mean, if it's engineers working in a silo and policymakers in another silo and sociologists in another silo, we don't get the full breadth of the picture.
We don't have a silo. Sociologists, we're not allowed that.
Right. Well,
you guys have silos, we don't.
See, we're actually,
maybe, but
yeah, no. we consider them vertical cylinders of excellence. But it's like
you should work in marketing.
We stop at the science. We have to go beyond that. We have to say, we have some leadership here. We have to exercise that leadership. And the leadership goes beyond just having the data. The leadership goes in communicating what's going on. We have to step out in front and say, we are the leaders. We are doing things that you need to know about. We are doing things that you need to be proud of in the state.
So it's not an issue of innovation, it's an issue of marketing.
It is, in many cases.
Speaking about marketing the university, the engineering college recently, it's the first year they've started a program. It's like student ambassadors at the engineering college. Essentially, we will go to events, we'll meet with recruiters, students, families, and just tell them what WVU engineering is doing. And I think that's a great program, and it sort of speaks into how we can, outside of the scientific realm, how engineers can step up and say what we're doing and how we're affecting more than just the university, more than the state, and how we're affecting the country and the world.
Now, we're trying to do all of this work down in the southern counties, and one of the forces that the university has that we can never overlook
is WVU football? I mean, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's not sociology. I'm just going to say it one more time. I think it's
What
something
brings
you
people
might
out?
be connected with. I don't know what it might be.
What brings people out?
Sweet
Are the sports
tea,
teams.
catfish, I don't know.
We can come back to that. Yeah.
People will drive 200 miles to attempt to get Tavon Austin's autograph. They will also drive 200 miles to hear Tavon Austin speak about environmental responsibility. I mean, if Geno Smith or Tavon Austin is going to speak on any topic, it will be a jam-packed audience. And so we have to use that attraction, not just on Saturdays, but we have to somehow shift the focus from, okay, what happens in between the white lines, to now there's a social responsibility. We're not telling our players, listen, get out of this cocoon of 84 other student athletes and get out into the community. Because I tell them, I said, listen, here's what's going to happen. 9 out of 10 people in this room won't even sniff the NFL. And at some point, you're going to have to make an income somewhere, right? 9.5, 9 3/4.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're going to need to call on someone. And the person that you're sleeping beside in the sociology class, I mean, there's a person who...
They sleep in sociology?
I know. I meant to ease into that, but I just had to throw it out there. But there are people in classes, you're not engendering relationships that could help you down the road because you're thinking of yourself as only a football player. But I think that once we can bridge that gap and create more of an attitude or a feeling of social responsibility, I mean, that can drive change in the state because they're on a platform that's really undeserved.
Something you said resonated. You said people are willing to drive 200 miles to get Geno Smith's autograph. One of the other things that I know that the university is associated with that people are willing to drive 200 and 300 miles for is treatment, health. My mother was in the hospital for a big chunk of time last year, and I spent a lot of time there and watched the people from across the state. And people would come and they couldn't afford hotels, they would camp in the lobbies. I mean, it was a mecca for people to come, and their need and their passion for what WVU could do for them was stronger than it is even on a game day for their desire for Mountaineer football to change their lives.
Point. I mean, I have patients that drive 3 hours to come to a specialist. I mean, they're not coming, they get my autograph maybe on a prescription pad, but I mean, it's a little bit different. It does. It does count, but it is different. To go, the first autograph I ever signed, I was on 6 East, the Children's Hospital, and it was the patient's name was Destiny, and I just, that really resonated with me, that people do come here for healthcare, and it is one of our resources that, it ties into everything else. But I think that people do drive, healthcare, it's sometimes hard to talk about the good things because it is a very private part, and, but I think the new marketing campaign, there is a new commercial, WVU Healthcare, that people came back here, and so I think we're doing it in little places. We have to kind of grow, but it's a valid point.
So the institution has rethought itself and is taking some bold steps forward. But part of the old step is to rely on the sports and the success of the sports to make the rest of the state love us and feel okay about us getting 20% of the budget or whatever, and to draw new students in, which then affects how much we can grow and how many new faculty we can hire and that kind of stuff. That's a model that's going to tip at a certain point as the number of 18-year-olds drops and we become really competitive with other institutions like the Penn States and Maryland around us. And so
I think Melissa's exactly right. We need to redefine ourselves so that our legislature and our media and our state citizens think of our astrophysicists and think of our public health epidemiologists and think of our chemical engineers and think of our pediatricians as a first-rate team.
20 years makes a huge difference in terms of technology and where you stand in terms of whether or not you're a global leader or you're not anymore. You need as many people at the table as possible, and they need to have diverse experiences and backgrounds and exposure to different groups of people, because they will bring all of that with them, and together they will come up with a solution more efficiently, faster, and better than if you put a group of people who are all the same at a table. They will come up with the same solution over and over and over and over again, and it won't even be a solution. So to me, it's an easy sell to say bring everybody in.
Now, it's got to figure out how to sustain the altitude, because the sports programs cannot be that engine.
That's right. We have to be on the front line in every situation in this state. We have to be in front of the people when they need help, because we have the talent and the ability to help them. They need to see our faces. They need to know that we're here for them. That's what we do. That's why we do it. That's why we love them, and hopefully they'll love us.
So what is the unique solution for us? How do we get at these solutions in ways that, because we face demographic and geographic challenges that are purely unique. And I think we can learn from others, but they're going to require lots of the West Virginia University way.
I think that's going to require another dinner.
Yes.
This evening has truly been an example of we are West Virginia, and we have incredible resources, incredible people who aggregated together can face any challenge, and who can build the brand and build it every day by what we do and what we know and what we say, but by the fact that we don't shrink from any challenge. So thank you all.